And back once again on the Malzberg Show with our friend Heather Hansen. Rejoins us, trial attorney, columnist at HNGN.com, and most importantly, panelist at the Daily Wrap. So we get to do a little warm-up for the Daily Wrap today.
I love it. I love the opportunity.
What's the big story we're covering?
Oh, of course it's Hillary.
You like how I'm pretending I don't know, even though I'm on the show with her?
Hillary's emails all day, all the time, pages and pages and pages
and I
of
actually
emails.
just saw you outside the studio reading the emails.
You know what? I feel as though if I'm going to talk about them, I should read as many as I can before we start our show.
So talk. What are you seeing in these emails?
Not a whole lot. You know, there's a lot of really in-depth, there's a lot of memos going back and forth. There's, you know, years before this happened, they're talking about the dangers that they're facing there. They're talking about sending...
The dangers in Benghazi.
In Benghazi, yeah, in Libya altogether. The government there, there's emails from the change in government, from Gaddafi's government to the TNC. There's a lot of emails about that. There's emails about providing aid to the children. I mean, there's a lot of things that just show you how government works. You sort of get behind the curtain in an interesting way.
We talked about this a bit during the break. It's interesting. What you see, and I got to read a few of the emails before we started, but what you see is these people aren't much different than we are. You read these emails and you go, well, that could have been anybody in any business.
That's right. And that they don't have some secret crystal ball where they know what's going to happen and they know how to figure it all out.
There's some magical information that we don't have.
Right. And there's some interesting conversation in April of 2011 about the aversion to boots on the ground back then.
Right.
And the idea that maybe boots on the ground back then may have been helpful. So that there may be, you know, the thing that it bothers me, and I haven't seen too much of it, is jumping, you know, reading these emails and then jumping all of a sudden and putting stuff out there. All of this has to be understood in context, and I think that's going to take some time. So while the document dump on a Friday afternoon seemed a little frustrating, I think over the weekend maybe people who are much smarter than I am will be able to put some of this in context for us, because there's a lot of information there and probably nothing super sexy.
Well, I was going to say, you would probably imagine, since we know that the server was wiped out and the emails were gone through, shall we say, and picked and chosen, that there probably isn't anything in there to make any big news.
No, there isn't. I mean, there's the fact that the FBI has classified one of the emails, and, you know, Hillary always took the position that everything that she emailed on her personal server was not classified. So, you know, 20/20 hindsight, but that's why you're supposed to put them on the State Department server, because then if these things later become important, they can make sure that it's protected. The other thing that's really interesting is there was an interview between a Wall Street Journal reporter, and of course her name, it's a woman, her name's going to miss me, but an interview that she did with Hillary, and apparently, according to Hillary's aides, she really invaded Hillary's personal space, and they laughed about it. There's a whole joke about it, how she wanted to ride home on her lap. So there's also, you see just the normal emails that you sort of see amongst people who work together a lot, where they're joking.
Again,
that poor reporter.
Just like the rest of us.
I know, but that poor reporter.
I know, she's going to see it too. So what else is coming up on the wrap?
I think we're going to talk a little bit about Marco Rubio.
Who?
Oh gosh, he is the guy. He is the guy.
There's a lot of people are focusing now on the fact that it may very well be a Rubio-Clinton race.
And that's the thing that seems to scare everybody, even Bill Clinton, according to the New York Times.
Yeah, I think people take Rubio very seriously. I think that substantively, he probably deserves to be taken seriously. I swear, I think most people are going to think he's still in college.
I know you say that, but I think that that's part of the reason that they're scared by him.
Because he's so young. And
he's a totally different candidate. You know, the others that we think about, Jeb Bush, Scott Walker. Well, even Scott Walker, he's an older guy. He's sort of more establishment. Rubio's young, and he's exciting, and he's focusing on that. And so I think that rather than running away from his younger looking self, he's going to take advantage of it.
Do we know the latest polling data on a Clinton-Rubio race?
I don't know. Maybe we'll know by the time
I was going to say, we'll know before we do the Daily Wrap.
Right.
What else is coming up? Let's see. And what else are we doing today? Oh, I know we've got a great man on the street interview by somebody we know, talking to people about the Memorial Day weekend. What are you doing for yours?
I am headed to the shore, Connecticut shore tomorrow morning, bright and early, after we're done here tonight, and going to stay there and do some paddleboarding for the first time this summer, which is going to be interesting. I'll probably spend more time in the water than I would like, and then head back to Philadelphia Monday to do some work. Yep, work
It's a
on
holiday
Memorial Day.
weekend.
I know, but
we're
if
going
I'm
to be
gonna
here on Monday. Are you going to be here
I'm
Monday?
not going to be here on
You're
Monday.
not.
I have something early morning in Philadelphia on Tuesday.
Early morning?
Yes.
You
bright
sure it's
and
not
early.
paddleboarding?
No, I will be working most of the day Monday and definitely all day Tuesday. But I'll be back here Tuesday night. For sure.
Okay, well, I hope so. Well, I'm trying to think what else we're
doing
going to be
the NSA.
covering. Oh, we are doing, that's right, and the whole Patriot Act thing.
Yes.
This has got to wrap up soon because it expires, I think, on the 31st, the Patriot
first,
Act.
right, that's right.
And
that's
if we don't have either a renewal of the Patriot Act as it is,
Yep.
or maybe an adoption of what they call it, the Freedom Act,
Freedom Act, yep.
which is what the House of Representatives passed, we could have a real problem because everything could go dark on the 31st.
Well, and when you first say that, it's sort of like, well, big deal. For a couple days, they won't be able to collect our data. But it really is more than that. According to those who are in the know, they're saying it would take longer to get it back started again, and the information that we would miss and the time that it would take, it would really hurt. Now, whether they're saying that just to sort of light the fire under the people who have to make these decisions, but right now you've got some people on really different pages with regard to this issue. So there's a lot of compromising.
It's going to be interesting. I know the White House is now pushing the Senate to get in a more compromising mood, and at this point, it doesn't appear like they're having any success.
No.
So this could turn into one of those stories that can take up most of the week. Well, we're going to get into that more. Yep. We're going to get into Hillary as always. As always. We've actually gotten into a Hillary segment now on every Daily Wrap episode.
I know, and you defend her every single day.
Well,
you must get tired of it.
Not when I think she's wrong. All right, we'll see you there on the Daily Wrap. Coming up next, another interview of Steve's. Brittany Gibbons is going to be joining Steve. She's the co-founder of Curvy Girl Guide and author of Fat Girl Walking. I'm not going to miss that. Stay tuned. You're going to enjoy that one.